Gordon Ryan, welcome.
Thank you.
Probably the newest Business Insider has interviewed, I think.
Oh, I feel privileged.
You should. Now, doesn't it mean the questions are going to be any easier? Tell us about Reviver.
Reviver is the Central Coast's first small bar. They changed licensing laws in 2008, and that's why we're seeing this proliferation of small bars come into play. And so Reviver is basically, we're a classic cocktail bar, and what we provide is basically unique drinks in what's a unique experience in Gosford. There's no pokies. The only screens we have in the place are the pods, so just so we can ring things up, and that's it. We play, we have classic drinks and we have classic music. So
and real people,
and
who want to chat.
Real people who want to chat, and very much built around the idea of community. So there's lots of ways that people can sit down and engage, and it's really the whole focus and the whole drive has always been to create a space in which people can talk and connect. Because how many times have you been out with some friends, and the friends have just come back from somewhere, and they've got all this exciting stuff to tell you, and you find out very soon that you're like this close because you're shouting in each other's ears and you still can't hear what's going on. So part of Reviver's ethos is about people coming in and connecting and having a space where they can relax, and they're not having to yell and shout, and they're not dealing with someone in the corner having a punch up, and it's just this nice, safe, relaxed, comfortable atmosphere where people connect.
And you talk about it being the third place.
Yeah,
that's a curious.
So my other, off camera we'll talk and say, I've got an IT business as well, and that sort of had me traveling a lot, and 200 days a year away, and I was spending a lot of time in Seattle, a lot of time up in sort of different cities in North America, going to Montreal, places like that. And what I'd find when I was on the road was that, especially the cities I was going back to, I could go back to the same bar, and I would be remembered, and it was almost like I had this, this place to come back to. And there's a US sociologist called Ray Oldenburg, and he coined this phrase of a third place. And a third place, the first place is home. We all have that. Second place is work. Hopefully we all have that. But we need a third place that's not work and that's not home, where we can just relax for a bit and just go and connect and have that community. And it doesn't matter if the person on one side is a court judge and the person on the other side is is an accountant or a plumber or an electrician or whatever it is. It's more just about people coming in and talking and connecting, and just that shared human experience. And so I would come home from these trips.
So where's your third place?
Yeah, and go. Where there's nowhere where I wanted to go. There's nowhere the other thing for me, of course, was the drinks. I love my classic cocktails, and there was nowhere that I could actually go to on the Central Coast to actually get that experience. So.
And you'll be self-defining or self-specifying, won't you? Or prescribing. It's a grown-up's place? Or do you see an age blend here? And it's more about profession and attitude than age?
I think the key word is actually attitude. Mm-hmm. It's about people appreciating a quality product in a quality space. And it's been fantastic watching. As I say, we've been open, as of today, we've been open just over 5 weeks. Mm. And in that 5 weeks, we've already built up our regulars. We've already got sort of regulars establishing themselves, and they range from uni students who come in and discuss literature, and have sort of set up this book group, and then we have everything through then to sort of we have that after work crowd, we have that professional crowd coming through, and then we have a sort of slightly older crowd coming through as well. It'd be very easy to say, oh, it's an older venue, and I think that's almost, as I say, I think it's more an attitudinal thing, yeah. and it's the common thread is it seems.
So age is not important. It's more the bumping into one another,
bumping in and appreciating that quality, and it doesn't matter which quality component it is, but just appreciating the little quality bits. and sort of and enjoying the space for what it is.
Okay. Let's talk about the lead up, because you've been open 5 weeks,
Yep.
but it was so smooth getting to that point, wasn't it? There were no issues at all.
Incredibly smooth. I mean,
Does one issue?
we joke, you know, it was 13 months from when we basically signed the lease through to having the doors open. Now, you know, we negotiating lease, we got you know, a rent-free period. So that first month of not paying rent was great, but you know, there was still another 12 months of paying rent. And so, you know, the what do I wish I knew now was how long it was going to take, you know. And
where did the issue come from? And is it local government? Is it contractors? Why did it blow out? Because I'm presuming you had some idea it could take 3 months or 5 months or whatever.
Yeah. The council experience was relatively painless. So that like about 4 to 6 weeks for the DA process was fine. What pushed us out was our licensing application, and that was just some hiccups on their end in terms of things getting processed and us being notified. And so that basically meant that we got our license mid-December. And I don't know if you've tried to get tradesmen mid-December, but they've knocked off. They're on their holidays, and so because they're on holidays, all the suppliers are on holidays. So you know, that basically pushed us out till the end of January before we started doing any of the fit out work. So yeah, as I said, that just some of that paperwork was just took that little bit longer, and then that kind of led into sort of a 4-week delay with Christmas, with everyone being closed. And so little things like that, which just kind of then compounded. So as we went through, but
you're here now.
We're here now.
Okay. Did anything surprise you in that lead up? You're obviously still being an IT person in this time, which helps cover some of those costs.
It does.
In terms of preparing the marketplace, could you do anything in that 13, 15 months?
We started our social media campaign fairly early. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, it's as of I think last count, we're up to about 248 likes for our Facebook page. Which, given the fact we've been open a month, is great. But even before, like with that campaign, we were over 100 at the day we opened. And so we'd been getting that messaging out there and trying to communicate that out there. And that's one of our big challenges. One of our big challenges is very much how we get our message out there, and getting our message out there in an appropriate manner, instead of just doing doing a scattergun approach, but trying to get that targeted marketing and getting the message to the right people, or to our audience that we're trying to attract. So,
and it is, I'm not sure whether anyone's mentioned to you, this is Gosford we're talking about, Man Street.
So
why Man Street?
Why Man Street? And you know, and I have to say, why not?
That's cool.
You know, I have to say why not, because every so often we get this comment that, you know, oh, it's Gosford. You know, you're trying to open a world-class bar, and at the end of the day, the benchmark that we're setting is very much, you know, the world-class bar. The inspiration for the bar is a bar in Seattle called Zigzag, and there's this concept of going, well, it's Gosford, and I think it's almost that self-fulfilling prophecy. If everyone sits there and goes, it's Gosford, it's always going to be like that, then, you know, it's the definition of insanity. You know, doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting the same and expecting a different result. You know, that's the definition of insanity. And so if everyone sits there going, well, no, it's Gosford, it's always going to be like that, then yeah, it will always be. And so what the sort of the passion and the drive is, you know, the Central Coast is a great place. Now, from my perspective, you know, 3 years ago, if you'd asked me where I'd be now, I wouldn't have been in Gosford. You know, I was setting my sights on either Sydney or more likely Seattle or somewhere in North America. Now, I was fortunate enough to meet my amazing partner and her son. And so it wasn't, I was left in this situation where going, well, they have roots here, and I can't just pick them up and move them. What I've dragged them through in Reviver is proof that they probably
There's
would
a test.
They probably would have come with me anyway. But it's that space of going, okay, well, you know what? There wasn't a place I wanted to go and drink in Gosford, and it's very easy. We can all sit there and go, this is wrong and that's wrong and that's wrong. But what we need people to, instead of complaining about things, to actually, put their hand in their pocket, do the hard work and make a difference. And that's what, people go, oh, why would you do it in Gosford? Now, when this idea first came up, it was very much about, well, where do business people go to connect and to have meetings and that sort of thing? Now, if you're in Gosford and it's 4:00 in the afternoon and you want to catch up with someone for a coffee and to discuss a new project, whatever the case may be, you don't have a lot of options. You go to Terrigal, that's all, you don't have a lot of options. Now, one of the things I love walking down Man Street is, and when the Heritage Society or whatever, they've got all the little sort of plaques showing what was there and the history. Gosford has this awesome history, and commerce has been in Gosford for 150 years. There is so much history there. And now we're just kind of going, oh, well, you know what, we've got Erin Affair, we've got Terrigal, so let's just let, Gosford stay, run down and blah. And it's kind of going, but no, there's so much history and it's such a gorgeous, there's just that fabric is there. We just need people just to, to get back in and do it. And so Amanda and I were talking, and when we first had this discussion, Amanda said, well, we should open in Gosford. And I looked at her and she said, she sort of saw the look on her face. She's just like, what, are you on drugs? It's really, what's, and she says, no, this is why. And when she sort of presented, I went, you are absolutely right. There is all these people, there's all this community there that, 5 o'clock, lights go out, everyone goes, okay? Because there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to engage them. There's nowhere that they want to be. So it was sort of just before, it was probably October 2010 was kind of when this was germinating. And we were basically, and I was trying to find spaces and all of the spaces I was finding were, these aluminium fronted shop fronts and really nothing engaging. And it was just before Christmas 2010, Amanda and I were driving over to my parents' place at Springfield, and we drive past the Crichton's building. Now, the Crichton's building is this gorgeous building with this amazing history, and it's heritage listed because it's the last remaining Art Deco building in Gosford. So it's got the gorgeous fins, it's the whole box of nice. And so here is this garage. So it's all sandstone. Now the sandstone, and this is the stuff that's kind of I discovered as I went along. It was built in 1938. Where John Whitway Drive is and all of those apartment blocks are up the back on the hill at Gosford there, that used to be a big quarry. Now the Gosford sandstone is regarded as some of the best sandstone in New South Wales. And so when they were in the bicentennial, when they were redoing all the buildings or whatever, it was all coming because they were getting the same sandstone. So, that whole building, like the whole garage, is all this local sandstone that's come just from the back of the hill. And you can see all of the hand working on it from the masons of the time. And, it's just gorgeous. So we saw this space and we were like, this is it, because we wanted a space that had, just had a presence, had a great energy. And it's one of the things that we love, and we get it really consistently, is people walk in and they just go, wow, and they go, I feel like I could be in the rocks. I feel like I could be in Spain, because and so, with the fit out, one of the things we decided very early on was we had to be sympathetic to the fabric of the building. So it's an old garage, it's an old hearse garage, and the fact that, what they used to pack 6 cars in there overnight, like 2 hearses, a funeral car, 2 vans and whatever, and you look at the space, and it's just kind of, wow, there's just so much story and so much history there, that we just kind of really wanted to honor that. And so with the people walk in, and they get the fit out. So, yeah, so the whole thing about like why is Reviver here? Reviver's here because, you know, I love the Central Coast. I didn't have somewhere that I wanted to go, and I had a reason to stay. So I had a reason to basically to do my bit and make it better. And you know, that's what we need. And we can't, you know, unfortunately I think there's this notion that some people have that they have this romantic notion of how Gosford used to be, you know, and Gosford is never going to be exactly how it used to be. Okay, we can't turn back the clock. So what we need to do is we need to embrace its history as a centre of commerce, you know, as a place where people would go. You know, you look at the picture of on the side of the Commonwealth Bank. You know, it was this grand old movie theatre. You know, this gorgeous, you know, round corner thing. You know, and it was fantastic. You know, and so people were coming out in Gosford. You know, our friends down at Biblos, we love what they're doing. You know, they're trying to create that space, and I think they've done an awesome job. So, you know, and we just need more people to take that leap of faith, you know, and to really, you know, invest the time, invest the energy to get Gosford back to being this great centre of commerce.
Gordon, you talk about energy. I'm exhausted listening to you. I now need to come in and have a beverage there. We don't respect what we've got, and I think you do, and that's a fantastic thing. We will ask for a tip though. Yeah. What won't you do if you start a business again? You're now, we like to ask a bottle question, as Bob talks about. What would your advice be to someone who's going to go through this process starting tomorrow after they see this interview? What would you warn them against or prepare them for?
It's going to take longer than you think. That's, you know, I've got, there's little bits and pieces which, you know, in terms of my layout and things like that. Yeah. But, you know, in terms of it, I think at the end of the day, it's just going to take longer than you think. And and what you have to do is you have to keep, you know, it's a cliche. You got to keep the dream alive. You know, you've got to remember that what you're doing and the reason of why you're doing it. Okay.
So it is time, and as they say in the trade, apparently, time is money.
Time is money.
So I'm presuming your message is it takes longer than you think and more money than you think.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. That's it. But by the same token, you shouldn't be put off by that either, because, you know, it's an awesome feeling, you know, walking in. And I'll walk in and I'll have, and like Pat, my manager, will be there, and he's talking to a couple of people at the bar, and I walk in and there's a whole group of people in the corner, and they're sitting there and they're drinking cocktails out of like a classic glassware, you know, and you see people connecting, and you hear laughter, and you just walk in and there's that energy, and you know, I walk in and I'm just like, all of it was worthwhile, you know, and we kind of joked that it was blood, sweat, and tears, and you know, and it literally was. You know, I managed to put some nails through my leg at one stage. You know,
we won't go there. We've got kiddies listening, and they this is stuff nightmares are made of. But knowing that it takes 13 months to get that's what makes me upset. But you've got the energy. May it always be that inviting. What is the address?
37A Man Street, Gosford.
Okay. Look for the Hearses aren't there anymore.
The Hearses aren't there.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Cheers.